a very warm welcome. We're in the Caribbean. We're at Terrance Lettsome Airport in the British Virgin Islands. The ICAO is Tango Uniform Papa Juliet. We're in the absolutely fantastic HondaJet, the HA420 by Marwan Garib, I think is his name. It's a fabulous aircraft. We're going to be doing a very scenic flight today. Here's an overview of it on the map I made. So we're taking off from the British Virgin Islands. We're going to overfly St. Martin. We're going to go very close to St. Bart's. Then we're going to go to overhead Guadeloupe, then Dominica, then Martinique, and finally St. Lucia. And the airport there is, I'll tell you in a second, I've got to look it up, George F. Charles, Tango Lima Papa Charlie, for the RNAV runway 09 from the transition KISES. We've got block fuel of 917. We're going to take 4 people with us, so we'll get all that loaded up in a second. This is a lovely aircraft. I know it's not maybe for everybody, but actually once you get used to it, it looks, besides what you're on the inside, you're looking at it from the outside. It's lovely. It's got this very bulbous nose, and that's aerodynamically very efficient. The engines are on pylons which are off the wings, which makes the cabin very quiet and much more spacious. It's got a huge hold in the back and a huge hold in the front as well. And I'll show you how to open the doors. As with many of this era of jets, it's got a lot of automation in it, and you activate a lot of things through these Garmin touchscreen controls. So you've got 3 big screens, so 2 primary flight displays, 1 multifunctional display, and then 2 Garmin touchscreens. So let's just get the battery on. It's the leftmost switch. We'll wait for the Garmin touchscreens to come on. As always with the middle screen, you need to switch it on with the right-handmost soft key. And then we'll just zoom into one of the touchscreen controllers. We're going to go to Aircraft Systems. That's the home page, I'll show you that again. Aircraft Systems, and then Sim Options, and then Sim Options again. And here you've got things like the main door, the cargo door at the back, the front cargo door, you've got GPU, you've got something that's very important, show 3D passengers, and also here what's known as the E2 mode, which is the auto throttle. Now, this aircraft does these days come with an auto throttle. I think it's an option. So if you have this selected on, you'll get the all-important auto throttle button here on the MCP, okay? And that I would suggest you do. Otherwise, it's full FADEC, and you've got the usual detents on the throttles. So just run it with the auto throttle and all will be well. So we'll have a quick look outside now. We've got the doors open. So there we go. There's the front hold. There's the main air stair, and there's a big hold here in the back. And it might not look very accessible, but actually there's plenty of room there to get big cases, even big skis and things in there. Okay, so that's all good. And let's just get to Simbri. So it's 917 kilos and 4 passengers. Okay, so we're going to work our way through this. So we'll go to the home page again, and then we want to go to utilities, and from utilities we go to initialization, and this is a little system that you run through, a bit like the Cirrus Vision Jet, and it helps you configure the aircraft so everything is ready for a smooth, safe flight. Okay. Meanwhile, what we'll do, we'll just add the fuel, just using the standard weight and balance. We want 917, I think it was. So 917, 934, that'll do nicely. Okay, and it's got, I think, one pilot, 4 passengers. I'm happy with that, but we'll go through that again here. So first thing to do is system tests. You just press pre-flight, and what it does, it just goes through the warnings of the aircraft. I'm going to bring back the yoke, so you get some warnings showing. Then you'll get the stick shaker. There you go. This is the stall protection. Okay, and then it's done. So that's simple. Hide the yoke again, and then we do back. Next one is weight and balance. So the empty weight, it's saying crew and stores. So 330 pounds is pretty much 2 pilots. Okay, so that's fine. I don't want to see anybody sitting next to me, but I'm happy to run with that. That's the default, you know, captain and co-pilot. Okay, and then we go to payload, and then it's saying 3 passengers, each of 170 pounds, and cargo, let's add 30, now let's add 40 pounds of cargo, bags basically. And then the takeoff, you can do fuel on board sync, but rather than click this, let's do this here, sync all from the sim. Okay, and this brings in all that's on the weight and balance here. Well, it's not showing yet, but it will do in a sec. So we do that, and we go back to here, and I think that will be correct. Yeah, there we go. We've got all the weight. So we've got pilot, co-pilot, 3 passengers, which is what Simbrief said, pilot and 4 passengers. Okay, so we can close that. Next thing, speed bugs. Okay, and we get from the sim. Okay, so click on that, and then do all on, and then all the rotation speeds, and again for the landing speeds. But we'll do this again closer to the arrival airport. Okay, and then that's the end of. Oops, hang on. Let's go back to utilities, initialization, weight and balance, sync from there, the sim. That's all done. Okay, and then we just accept the initialization. Okay, so that means that the basic aircraft is correctly configured. We've got the fuel, we got the passengers, we got the cargo, and we've done the self checks. So that's great. Then we can do Simbrief. Oh, right. So let's just click on this link. We'll approve this. We'll do allow. For some reason my sim just doesn't remember aircraft that I've linked. Okay, I really do need to rebuild my sim pit. So there we go. I've done that. So now on Simbrief we've got Tango Uniform Papa Juliet, Tango Lima Papa Charlie, and we'll do a request, and then we'll do an import. There we go. Okay, so we've got the crucial route. Then we click on procedures, departure. It's only a runway from here, so I don't think we can do anything from here. No, that's fine. Then we do an approach. There's no arrival, just an approach, and that is the RNAV 09, and we're doing it from the KISES transition. KISES. And then we load. Okay, so that's the whole flight plan sorted, nice and easy. Okay, so we'll be on runway, I think it's 09. Let's just have a quick look at this now. I'll bring up Navigraph charts. So we're on 07 departure, 09 for the arrival. The arrival is the standard RNAV from KISES, track 253, left turn to Dermy. Dermy would need to be at 2,000 feet, and then it's a standard RNAV into the runway. Straightforward. there is no SID, standard departure from Terrance B Lettsome, so we're on runway 07 and we're going to use beyond ATC, so it'll be a takeoff runway heading, then they're going to give us vectors probably to LARPP. Okay, but as with any aircraft like this, we'll take off and we'll go to heading mode and flight level change, the first thing we'll do. Okay, so 070 is going to be the runway heading. So let's get that dialed in. And we're also going to get the QNH, just press B. Okay, and now we want 070 for the runway heading. And actually the easiest way for me to do that is just to press the heading knob, because it'll just center the heading knob. There we go. And I'm just going to dial it back so it's reading 070. There we go. Sorted. As I said, there's no initial altitude because there's no departure, so I'm just going to enter something like 4,000 feet. We'll see what ATC give us. Okay, so let me bring up ATIS.
Surface wind 140 degrees, 9 knots. Visibility 10, scattered 1,900 feet, temperature 28 degrees, 2.24 degrees, altimeter 3006, landing and departing runway 07. Advise on initial contact, you have information whiskey.
Information whiskey. So ground, request our IFR clearance.
Beef Island ground, November 77 Victor Alpha, HA420 HondaJet, ramp 2, request IFR clearance to George F. Charles Airport, information whiskey.
November 77 Victor Alpha, Beef Island ground, cleared to George F. Charles Airport, runway 07, after departure radar vectors LARPP, climb to flight level 060, squawk 2745.
Cleared to George F. Charles Airport, runway 07 after departure radar vectors LARPP, climb to flight level 060, squawk 2745, November 77 Victor Alpha.
November 77 Victor Alpha, read back correct. Call me back when ready for start or a taxi.
Roger that, November 77 Victor Alpha.
Okay, so 060, so 6,000 feet we've got dialed in, and we've got a squawk of 2745. You do the squawk through the GTC, the Garmin touchscreen controller. Squawk is here, top right hand side. Click on the numbers, and then you do 6, 4. No. Let's do that again. 2745. 2745. And we want to do enter. And the squawk and the lighting is all fully automatic in this, okay? But just to show you where they are, okay, so we don't need to worry about the squawk now, changing it to mode Charlie or altitude reporting. It's taken care of by the aircraft. So we'll just go to utilities, and then we'll go to, no, it's not there, it's under aircraft systems, and then it's under systems, and then you've got exterior lights here, but these are all automatic. You can activate them yourself, but the aircraft knows exactly what you're doing, so it does all the lighting for you. The strobes, the taxi, the landing lights, okay? It's fully automatic. And then we go to interior lights, and we've got seat belts and no smoking, and you can also do footwell lights if you want, and you can change the intensity of the lights, okay? So it's really, it's just very, very smart. It's very, very clever. We'll just do back on that, and of course I was running with the GPU. The GPU was connected, and I should really connect it now, because probably by now I would have run out of battery, but anyway, better late than never, I guess. We'll go back to the home page on this GTC, and what we can do is to close up the doors. But before we do that, just a quick briefing on the takeoff. So we're going to take off on the runway heading, Okay, and climb to 6,000 feet or flight level 060. The barrow knob is here, just above the primary flight display. Press it to go standard. So we're going to take off. We're going to put the autopilot on very, very soon after takeoff. We're going to clean up. So that's flaps up, gear up. So we go autopilot on. Yaw damper will be on. We're going to put the auto throttle on. And we're going to go to heading mode here. So it follows the heading that we've got dialed in, which is 070. Okay, so autopilot will come on, yaw damper will come on with it, auto throttle and heading mode. Okay, flight level change, okay, is over here. And that is climb on indicated airspeed. And there are two modes for this. Okay, manual, which it's on. If I click on this, it will go to FMS. Okay, and that will be VNAV. And there is a VNAV button here, and when that's activated, this LED will be on. But more on this in a second. So to start with, we're just going to climb with the auto throttle at a given airspeed, okay? And just initially we'll just climb with about 180 knots, something like that, okay? And you dial the speed here, this knob, and the speed is shown here at the top of the speed tag. Right, so let's close the doors and things. Aircraft systems. No, wrong one. So aircraft systems, sim options, and then we do main door, rear cargo door, front cargo door, and we'll just have a quick look to make sure they're all shut. Okay, and indeed they are. You can see we've just got the basic nav lights on. That's all automatic. Very, very clever. By the way, if you're wondering about this colour scheme, this is Tom Cruise's colour scheme here. I don't know whether that's his registration. This is a livery from flightsim.to. It comes with two liveries, this one, as you see, and one with what's called a dynamic registration. You can put your own registration on the tail. So anyway, this is Tom Cruise's, I believe. So let's go back inside. And we're going to ask them for engine start. So request startup only.
November 77 Victor Alpha at ramp 2, request startup.
November 77 Victor Alpha, startup approved. Call when ready for taxi.
Wilco, engine start approved. November 77 Victor Alpha.
Okay, so engine start is very easy on this. So we'll just check that we've got the parking brake on. Here's the parking brake. Off. Now it's on. Okay, so parking brake is on. Flaps are up. You have got spoilers on this and they are currently up. They're either on or off on this aircraft. And you just press the start buttons. Okay, and then you just move the throttles forward to the idle position. So I'm going to do number 2 first. In fact, no, I'll do number 1 first, then we can get rid of the cart. So we'll do number 1. So press start. We'll get rid of the caution, and it's fully automatic. We'll get to about 20. Now we can put the fuel on. And it's very, very quiet, this aircraft, because the engines are out on little pylons on the wings. It's a great design, I love it. It's so curvaceous, beautiful. Okay, so we've got a good start on number 1, and what we can do now is we can get rid of the GPU, but we'll switch the GPU off first. In fact, it is off. We'll just get rid of the cart, and now we can start number 2. So N2 is rising. We've got oil pressure, oil temperature. We're looking for 20. Now we've got 20. Just move the throttle into the idle position. And oil pressure's coming up. It's in the green now. Oil temperature's rising. And the big fan is turning. So good start number 2 as well. Good. Okay, and the beacons should be on automatically, I think. I can see it flashing. I'm not quite sure whether there it is. You can see it flashing. So it knows what you're doing. Okay, so we want one stage of flap. So we'll do one stage of flap. And we can put on the cabin power. That is for so they can charge their laptops and their iPhones and what have you. And let them operate the controls in the cabin. So that's on, and we've got the QNH set. So I think we're now ready for taxi. But what we can do before we do that, we're just going to change the view here, because we got, this is a traffic display, and we've also got traffic here. Okay, so I'm going to put this onto the normal map. Oh, it's the soft keys on this, so map layout, insert map, there we go. Okay. Or you can put the map here, which is quite nice. There. But I like it, I prefer it here. Okay, so we've got the inserted map there. You can make any of these full screen, so we've got the map again here. Or you've got the traffic here. Traffic does also show here, and you can manipulate these. At the moment, this one is operated by this touchscreen controller, and this one operated by this. So you can, for instance, zoom in and out on the map. Which one is it? It's this one here. Sorry, it's this knob here. One on the left. And zoom in and out. We'll just zoom in a little bit. There we go. Like that. Okay, and you can make them full screen. You can even put the checklists, I think you can put on the primary flight display. Weather overlay is off. Yeah, I don't want the weather on this. I'd rather it was on this. And you can put a weather radar on. These are very comprehensive systems. You can even put a vertical profile on this, and I need to remind myself how. So on this one here, I can make this full screen by clicking on this, and then I can do something like oh, that's to change the frequencies. Back. Let's go back to home. Oh, you can do charts as well, but probably I need to redo my navigator. Oh no, there we go. There we go. So you can see us sitting here. So we're going to turn around, taxi back this to this. So turn around, taxi along Charlie, enter the runway, and then taxi along this area here. So we can do back. You can get the map back on there. Map. There we go. And we can do. I can't remember how you get the. That's the checklist there. They're really fully featured. You can actually go up and down them and check things off. But it's not a feature I'm used to using. And on this one here, there is a way to get the vertical profile, but I need to remind myself. I need to get the checklist showing on here as well. The PFD settings, I guess. Other settings. Altitude units. Wind. We haven't got wind yet. But anyway, we'll we'll worry about that in a bit. Okay, so let's get taxi.
November 77 Victor Alpha, request taxi to the active.
November 77 Victor Alpha, taxi via Charlie, hold short of runway 07.
Taxi via Charlie, hold short of runway 07, November 77 Victor Alpha.
So you'll see there's no taxi light on, and the moment we start moving there will be. So let's get the parking brake off, we'll give it a little bit of welly. There's no reverser on this, but it does land in very, very short order. So let's get, there we go. And you can see the taxi lights just come on. There you go. One on each side. Oh, and on the end of the wing. Okay, let's go up here. So taxi via Charlie, hold short 07. That's our instruction. This is very, very fuel efficient, this little aircraft. We're going to taxi on Charlie. I don't think it's got a tiller. You can taxi it through the pedals. Yeah, no tiller. Through the pedals. So we'll come to stop here at Charlie.
November 77 Victor Alpha, via Charlie cross runway 07, taxi to holding point Alpha, runway 07, via Charlie, Bravo, Alpha.
Clearance to taxi along
Via Charlie cross runway
track.
07, taxi to holding point Alpha, runway 07 via Charlie, Bravo, Alpha,
is,
November 77
there's a
Victor
little link
Alpha.
at the end of the runway where aircraft can taxi and leave the runway and just hold short just to the, I think it's the southern side of the runway. So just as a reminder, we're going to take off in the opposite direction to what we're taxiing now. We're going to go straight away, as soon as practical, on autopilot. The all damper should come on as well, but if not, then we just make sure it is on. Go in heading mode and flight level change.
November
Okay.
77
We're
Victor
going to come off
Alpha,
the runway
contact
here.
Beef Island Tower 118.4.
Over to Tower 118.4, November 77 Victor Alpha.
Very, very quiet. Just reduce the throttle so break the speed limit on the ground. Goodness. Okay, so here's the hold, and we can just come to a stop. There's probably one more thing I just remembered. Come to stop, and it's the trim. So I'm gonna just zoom into the the multi-function display, and we've got the trim indicators here. So we just move the trim up or down until the little arrows go green. Did you see that? Just do that again. So they're about there, and I'm just moving them down a little bit, and they've gone green now. Okay, so now the trim is set. Okay, so let's ask for departure.
November 77 Victor Alpha, ready for departure, runway 07.
November 77 Victor Alpha, Beef Island Tower, wind 140 degrees, 9 knots, fly heading 080, runway 07, cleared for takeoff.
Fly heading 080, runway 07, cleared for takeoff, November 77 Victor Alpha.
So before we take off, just have a quick look outside. You should see not just the taxi lights on, but you should also see the landing lights and the strobe lights. That's when we line up, because it knows when you're on the runway. we're lined up now. So come to a stop, have a look outside. So you can see we've got the landing lights are now on, and you should see the strobes as well. There we go. The strobes are on. So it's, yeah, don't have to worry too much about the lights. Okay, so I'm going to advance the throttles. I think there's a max detent and there's a takeoff detent, okay? But I'm just going to remind myself, it's a while since I've thrown this, so just going to spool them up a little bit and move the throttles fully forward. And yeah, it's on takeoff, so fully forward. There's no max detent, so all the way forward, and you get takeoff shown here. Okay, so just keep it straight on the runway. 60 knots. Whoops, sorry, that's me, my bad. And rotation speed's coming up now, V1 and rotate. That's not the best takeoff I've ever done, goodness. Okay, so gear can come up, flaps can come up straight away. Okay, and that was not very good takeoff, so my apologies. So we're just going to
November 77 Victor Alpha.
So,
Contact
autopilot
San Juan Serap departure 132.25.
at the same time. Heading
Contact San Juan Serap departure 132.25 November 77 Victor Alpha.
Flight level changes on. And what we're going to do also
San
is to
Juan
go
Serap, November 77 Victor Alpha, passing 1,000 feet climbing to flight level 060.
Auto throttle, autopilot, your damper.
November 77 Victor Alpha.
And then
San
you
Juan
can go
Serap
to
departure
heading mode.
identified. Climb flight level 190.
If you click it once, it goes to roll mode.
Climb
If you
flight
click it
level
twice, it goes to
190,
heading mode.
November 77 Victor Alpha.
So we've got now climb flight level 190.
November 77 Victor Alpha. Turn right, heading 140.
Turn right, heading 140, November 77 Victor Alpha.
Heading right, 140. Just going to click and hold with the heading knob. Just move it to 140. That's going to be a direct to LARPP, I would imagine. And I need to go to flight level 190. 190. Just now. Yeah, 190. Okay, so then he'll probably give us a direct to LARPP, and then we'll need to enter that here. So we'll go to flight plan in preparation for that. Okay, so if you remember, we're on flight level change and the auto throttle is on. So the auto throttle is keeping us at 192 knots, which is the speed I had when I switched it on. And if I want to adjust that speed, I just use the knob and just roll the wheel of the mouse. Okay. And at the moment, the flight level change is on manual. Okay, if I click this and go to FMS, there we go, it will change the speed to what the VNAV profile for climb has. Okay, so I'll just do that again. In the flight plan menu, VNAV button, and here you've got all the different profiles. Climb, cruise,
November 77 Victor Alpha. Clear
in
direct
climb,
LARPP.
it's climbing at
Resume on navigation.
210 knots.
Clear direct LARPP.
210 knots.
Resume own navigation, November 77 Victor Alpha.
So it's now, we haven't done anything. These are the default values, the VNAV. Okay, all we did was to change the knob and made sure it was, we took off a manual and we changed it to FMS, and it gave us 210 because that's what's programmed in. Okay, you can change that if you want. Okay, so let's go back. There's our flight plan. We've got a direct to LARPP. So we hit the, I'll just do that again. Flight plan. Here's a direct to symbol. Okay, and it's saying LARPP. Okay, but we can change, if we don't want it to be LARPP, if they've given us a direct to somewhere else, we can change it. But actually we do want LARPP. Okay, so we just do activate direct to LARPP. And if you look now, the aircraft, the magenta has gone direct to LARPP, and all we've got to do is to change it to nav. Now it's on FMS, now to tracking to LARPP. Let's just zoom out on this. 12,000 feet, still climbing at 210, and we could let them out of their seats because we've got a fairly clear day. And just to remind you that you have to go to the aircraft, no, I think it's utilities, no, aircraft systems, system controls, interior lights, seatbelts off. And some little lights in the back will have changed somewhere, wherever the seatbelt sign lights are. Okay, so if we go outside, the landing light will be off, and all will be left with the beacon, the strobe light, and the nav lights. There you go. It really is just a delight. It really is a delight. It's one of those sim aircraft that absolutely does what it's meant to do. Now, if we get some stuff, we've got to switch the oxygen on, and I forgot to do the timer. So we go to utilities, timer,
November 77 Victor Alpha. Contact Send 1 Oceanic Control 128.65.
See the time's repeated here.
Center on 128.65, November 77 Victor Alpha.
So we're
San Juan
climbing up to
Oceanic Control,
190.
November 77
We've
Victor
cleared up
Alpha.
to
Good morning.
410,
Passing flight level
we've
166, climbing to flight level 190, direct LARPP.
November 77 Victor Alpha, San Juan Oceanic Control. Good morning. Identified. Climb flight level 410.
Climb flight level 410, November 77 Victor Alpha.
Right, so changing to 410. Set and checked. Okay, and we can obviously go to standard pressure, so press the barrel knob, we go to standard. So really this is just a delight. It's one of those aircraft that actually does everything it's meant to, and it does it brilliantly. So I'm going to try and now work out how you get the vertical profile. So we'll go full screen. No, we won't go full screen. Let's see if we get something here. Let's go flight plan. We've done that. Flight plan. No. Nearest. No, this is if you want to do direct to, so it's not that. So let's go to flight plan. Flight plan options. Show map. Show the whole route. There we go. That's nice. Map settings. Oh goodness. Okay, so this is probably where you can set it to be the vertical profile. So traffic is on. So let's go full screen on this, and let's see if we can go options here. So show on map. No, not that. Map settings. Map sync. I don't know how it is. Go off. Inset window. Vertical. There it is. Flight plan text. You can do all bunch of stuff. Here's your top of descent information. There's a vertical navigation. Aviation, what's this here? Oh, I don't know. These are points of interest. So airspace, airports, VORs on the map. Track vectors, wind vector, goodness me. Yeah, more than I need. So we've got a nice representation. Oh, well, hopefully that's got traffic as well. No, let's go back to this. Yeah, so traffic is on the map. Okay, so go back to flight plan. So we've got two maps now showing the same thing. So what we want really is one of them to be showing traffic. So we'll go back to here. PFD. No, we'll do traffic insets. There we go. So we've got dedicated mini map that will show us traffic. But traffic will also be shown here. So how good is that? That's very good, isn't it? So don't pay any attention to the fact that it says easy mode for the auto throttle. The HondaJet does come with an auto throttle, and you know it's an option. So yeah. Why not? If it's there, use it. Definitely. And you know, the visibility on the side is a little bit restricted. That's my only beef with it. But actually, it's not too bad. You know, it's more form than function, really, isn't it? It'd be better if this was a bigger window, but you know, it's not so bad. You've got enough of a view. View out the front is adequate, not spectacular. This is not really for sightseeing. It's purposeful piece of jet. It's got how many seats in the back? It's got 5 seats, I think it's got. So yeah, it's 4 plus 1 here, and I think this on some Hondas is a little what they call a kitchenette. These are drawers that you can keep refreshments in. So maybe it hasn't got a kitchenette. I don't really know, to be honest. But yeah, it's very tidy. Let's have a quick look in the loo. I wonder what's in the back there. So what do we got here? Oh, we've got a sink. We've got a loo. Was closed. Some oh, you've got a skylight. I forgot that. You've got a little skylight here. In some aircraft of this category, the loo in the back is what's called a belted loo. It doesn't mean you have to have it on when you're sitting in the loo. It just means that actually, when the seat is down, this becomes a legal seat for a passenger. So a belted lavatory seat means that actually somebody can actually sit there for the flight. Not that I particularly wouldn't want to do that, but anyway. Let's go back to the front. Let's get the door shut. Yeah. We'll go back to the front of the aircraft. Where are the passenger signs then? Don't know where that would be. I don't know where. They should have tables. I'm sure they all have tables. Maybe they're just not locked. Anyway, we're not going to worry about it. We're not sitting in the back. We're sitting here. Cool. So we are now flying over, I believe. Let's have a quick look. Coming up to St. Martin. Let's see what we can see out the front. There. level 320, still climbing. Just reset our heading knob, and really not much to do now until we get to the other end, so I'll leave you with some views of the airport. It's just lovely. They're making a bigger HondaJet than this, the mid-size, a super mid-size jet. I just find it a very lovely design. I was a bit curious about it to start with, but it's around and it's lovely. So there we go. So I'll leave you with nice views, and I'll see you all on the descent. So we're presently over Guadalupe. And we are just a few minutes from our proper descent. This is fully automatic if you've got VNAV on. So what we'll do, we'll just dial in the lower altitude. So we're going to go down to maybe 30,000. We'll see what ATC tells us. So 30,000 dialed in. 30,000. Go VNAV. You can see a little light, LED light, and you've got VNAV path here. Okay, so it will start to descend on its own. I'm just going to center the heading bug.
Yeah. November 77 Victor Alpha, report ready for descent.
Okay, that's the instruction, so I'll do that.
Wilco, November 77 Victor Alpha.
And you can see we're now 3 minutes from our top of descent. So it will appear at some point on this. I think it's just coming through there. Let's see what it says. Should be TOD. Ta-da! So as long as you're VNAV, you've got a lower altitude set, the aircraft will start to come down. I've only dialed in flight level 300. That probably isn't enough.
November 77 Victor Alpha, descent to flight level 200.
Right, so we've got clearance.
Descent to flight level 200, November 77 Victor Alpha.
Let's dial in 200. And just for reference, 200, we'll just have a quick look at the approach chart. So here's the RNAV. The minimums I think are 980. Okay, we'll get 980 in the minimums. And it's KISES, then OMTIN, then Dermy. Dermy is at 2000. So that will be our platform altitude. And this will be a fully automatic approach. We'll just press the approach button and it will take us down all the way to our decision line. So 980, I think it says 980. Okay. So we've got no intermediate altitudes, just 2000 at Derby. So 980 is what we want. So what we do, go to VNAV, I think it is, descent. No, not there. So where is it? Oh yes, procedures. Procedures. So we'll do the approach.
Vertical
and
track.
Minimums 980. 980. Enter. Sorted. Go back. Back. Yeah. Vertical track. You heard that. I hope. That tells you that you're getting very close to your top of descent, and it also brings up this little display here, which is the magenta chevron, and as you get closer to your top of descent, you'll see this little magenta chevron come down, and when it gets to nearly the middle, the aircraft will start to descend. We've still got the auto throttle on. The annunciator is here on the FMA. Remember, the FMA, Flight Management Annunciator, is the repeater to what we've got here. So what you set here should be reflected here. So the little magenta marker is down in the middle, and you can see VNAV path is active, and the aircraft is now descending at about 2,000 feet per minute, and it's maintaining the descent profile, which is, we can check that. Let's check that together. So we go to VNAV, cruise descent, and it is Mach 0.7270 indicated, and you can see it's actually Mach 0.70. It really is very, very, very good. Like it or not, this is a really superb little airplane. Okay, so let's get our approach speeds. So let's go to home, speed bugs, and landing. Okay, so we'll just get from sim, and it just updates, refreshes the weights, the fuel, and so on, and then you do all on, and so we've got now an approach speed of 113. And the VREF, which is the speed to go over the numbers, 108. Okay, these are teeny little numbers. Okay, wondering why the speeds, rotation speeds, and that, they're just they're little ones on this. It is designed to be aerodynamically efficient, low drag. Okay, so how are we doing? Coming down, still 2,000 feet per minute, and it's maintaining 0.70 on the speed. All good. And because we're in the descent, what we should do is to get the passengers belted in. Let's do that. So we'll go to aircraft systems. Sim options, like system controls, I'll get it right one day, interior lights and seat belts on. Not that we found where that was indicated, but at least back to the home page, back to the flight plan. Of course you've got full checklists on this, I should bring them up, but yeah, come back. So we've got checklists, and you can go through the checklists with one of these. No, not that one. This one. No, not that one. This one. Yeah, there we go. So you put your cursor over this. You move your wheel on your mouse, and when you've done something, you click it. Click, click, click. Okay, and then it goes to the next checklist. So, very good. Let's go back to map, and we've still got the vertical profile, but I'm going to make this full screen. Cool. And as you saw, we can get the charts up as well. I think you can actually do it on the primary flight displays, except I can't remember how. So we'll just use them on this. In fact, we'll just use them externally. Okay, so we are now cleared down to flight level 200. We're still descending at Mach 0.7 and we're at 2,150 feet per minute. Okay, and we're on the profile. This little magenta marker, when it's in the middle, it means you're on profile. So it's looking to get us down to, you know, the right altitudes in time for us to get to Derby at 2,000. It really is, it's superb. So, what have we got ahead of us? Let's have a quick look. So at the moment we've got, so I think we've done, Dominic, this is probably Martinique ahead of us. So there should be like a bay off way down on the right, some on the left as we look out. Yeah, so there we go, that's Martinique. There's the bay, there's the sticky out bit. Yeah. So we are just north of Martinique. Good. Passing flight level 260. Still at, now we're at 270 knots, which is still the VNAV profile. Just to remind you, go to flight plan, VNAV, and then descent. You can see 270 or Mach 0.7. It's a normal 3-degree descent profile. I'm not sure what our approach is. Possibly we'll get radar vectors for that RNAV, but I will fly the full procedure. So beyond 80 might just squawk at me a little bit, but I'm going to just carry on. So we're on profile, that magenta chevron is in the middle, and time to bottom of descent is 11 minutes. And it's saying KISES at 6,100. And if we look at the chart, KISES, yeah, there's no restrictions on the altitudes or the speeds. Derby is 2,000, and then it's 1,800 at Saville, and then 3-degree glide to the end, Terrance, and that's 980. We've got 980 set as the minimum, and just to remind you, that's under procedures, approach, and then minimum scan. So I did speed the flight up, but the timer for the cruise speeded it up, but the timer will have run throughout, so it's 1 hour 20 minutes for this.
November 77 Victor Alpha,
so
descend flight level 100.
Descend flight level 100, November 77 Victor Alpha.
We've got, so we'll just change that now to 100. We've got. Just hovering at the red line speed. Again, that's another beautiful approach. See Lucia, no, those lovely coloured water levels, beautiful. Okay, so the end of the route is Foxtrot, Oscar Foxtrot, which is at Martinique, and we've just gone past it, I think. So now it's tracking direct to KISES, which is first the transition of the RNAV into runway 09. You can see the gentleman on KISES.
November 77 Victor Alpha QNH1018. Expect the RNAV approach runway 09er with the KISES transition.
QNH1018. Expect the RNAV approach runway 09er with the KISES transition. November 77 Victor Alpha.
Okay, so just confirming that we've got the KISES transition.
November 77 Victor Alpha. Cleared direct KISES. Cross KISES at or above 6,100 feet. Cleared RNAV approach runway 09er.
It's 6,100, right?
Cleared direct KISES. Cross KISES at or above 6,100 feet. Cleared RNAV approach runway 09er, November 77 Victor Alpha.
JetBlue 1818. Contact San Juan Oceanic Control 128.65. Have a good morning.
So
Contact San Juan Oceanic Control 128.65. JetBlue 1818.
I think you can actually preset that. So at the moment we're on standard barrow, but if I move the knob, oh no, you can't preset it. No, not yet. The moment you move the knob, it changes. Okay, so we'll stay on barrow, and we'll just get the actual transition. That is 9,000 feet. It's actually not far to go. 9,000 feet, 5,000 to go. If we go below 10,000, we should have some lights. We'll check that. And there's a weather radar in this as well. Oh, you've got lots of synaptic displays, by the way, to enjoy. So here's the electrical one, tells you what lights are on and off. Here's the environmental controls. There's the electrical. That's the status of fuel. There's lots of synaptic pages. Weather radar's not there. That's weather. So at the moment it's just showing us the weather, but we can actually put the radar on by clicking weather radar settings, switch the radar on, and then take it out to standby. There we go. So there is no weather ahead, no storm cells or anything like that. So it's cross KISES at 6,100 or above. We're going to be well above that. I'm going to get rid of this. In fact, I'm going to go full screen again. So I'll go full. There we go. just slowing down now. We're at 10,000 feet. You see, it's just done this completely perfectly. You know, it's just that it does everything it's meant to do. There we go. So 10,000. We're cleared now on the. So we're just slowing down now to 250. We can go down to 2,000, which I should have done earlier on that. So we get 2,000 set. No, let's. Not sure what he's doing. It's above the profile at the moment, so let's just take a bit of control. We'll do vertical speed, and we'll just come down and just use this wheel here, 1300. Let's come down at a reasonable rate. 2,500, and because we're still in VNAV, the little LEDs on, and we're in vertical speed, 2,500 feet per minute descent, when it catches the little magenta marker, VNAV will again take over. We do need to catch that up. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Maybe it was a bit late in changing the altitude that we were cleared to. So we've got the diamond and the magenta marker just here, and we're just about catching it up. Not quite as quickly as I'd like, but I wouldn't get too fast with our vertical descent. Zoom in on the map a little bit, so that's this one here, I think. Put your cursor over it and use the wheel on the mouse. So we're just approaching that magenta marker. I could have come down to 3,000 feet per minute for it to catch up, but it will catch up. And I think it only gets one dot. Is now, it should go back to the VNAV profile. And we need to get to 1018. Press B, 1018. VNAV path, so it's called the VNAV path again. Continue our left turn now. Set my heading bug. And I want to start slowing the aircraft down. So we're going to go manual on the speed. So this little switch at the top here. From FMS to manual. And then we just slow the aircraft right down. We're going to go to about 160. 160 we've got. Okay. Still on VNAV path. The aircraft is continuing to descend as it slows down. We've got speed brakes, we can deploy them now. Just so it slows down even more. Yeah, no, on the tail. Cool. Okay, so we are now 3,000, coming down to 2,000. Speed is just reducing to 160. Okay, one stage of flap. Check to make sure our lights are on. They should be on. No, they're not. I thought we'd be on, but some of the wing here. Okay, and our VREF was 113. Okay, so let's slow the aircraft even further. I'm going to go from 123, which is 10 knots above our VREF. We're going to go, we're just near the waypoint Savile. We're going to press our approach button here. Okay, and it says glide path. That means the RNAV approach is armed. We can go gear down. One stage of flap out. Gear's just coming down. Go 5 knots now above.
November 77 Victor Alpha. Contact George F. Charles Tower 118.0.
We go full flap.
Over to Tower 118.0, November 77 Victor Alpha. Bye-bye.
So now we're on glide path, and this little magenta
George F. Charles Tower, November 77 Victor Alpha. RNAV approach runway 09er.
Your minimums, which is 980. So we should have runway ahead of us.
November 77 Victor Alpha, George F. Charles Tower, wind 140 degrees, 9er knots, runway 09er cleared to land.
I don't know
Runway
if
09er cleared to land, November
spoiler
77
on the
Victor
helm
Alpha.
auto deploys on landing. Okay. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. We can have a quick look actually. We'll have a quick look. But actually this thing's got very good brakes, so there's nothing to worry about. But a gorgeously scenic approach, except for that. Lots of fuel silos or whatever you call them. I guess they've got to be somewhere. Very good. Coming down to 1,100, another pretty much 200 feet to go to our minimum. We're full flap, gear is down, lights are on, and we're cleared to land. So, right, so we're at minimums, we're continuing. Autopilot is coming off. I need to switch the yaw damper off, so press it there. Yaw damper is off. When you switch something off, it goes yellow and flashes at you. And I'm going to take the auto throttle off as well. And now I've got manual throttles, and I just move my throttles, and I match the position of where the engine instruments were just before I switch them off. Okay, that will help me keep the right speed, the right profile. Okay, so we've got VREF 113 and 108 is our actual landing speed, so we just need to slow down to 113, which we've got pretty much. We're a little bit slow.
$500.
A few cruise ships in the harbour there. Remember to check whether or not the speed brake deploys on landing. Honda's, I'm sure it will. Can keep the profile. There we go. Diamond
200.
marker there needs to be in the middle, of course. Whoops, a bit low, a bit slow. It's quite turbulent. Okay.
100.
Just over the numbers. 103 is our touchdown speed.
30. 20, 10,
Oh gosh, it is really quite
5,
big. Okay, I'm just going to have an external view just to see if they're, yeah, they're open. So let's get back on the centre line. I'm just braking, and as you can see, the brakes are very good. I'm just dabbing them.
November 77 Victor Alpha. Exit next available taxiway.
Right, so there isn't a taxiway because I
Exit next
backtracked.
available taxiway, November 77 Victor Alpha.
So you just see the spoilers that they're closed now. Okay. Okay, so we can clean up. So flaps coming up.
All aircraft be advised information uniform now current. QNH1018.
At least I don't think there is other parking here. Let's try and get the ground chart up. Come off the runway though. Okay. So, where can we park? Park here. I don't think there is anywhere else. I'll get the chart when I've parked. So, do this external view.
November 77 Victor Alpha. Contact ground 121.8. Good day.
Ground 121.8, November 77 Victor Alpha.
So, put the park brake on. Park brake is on. And to shut the engines down, you literally click and hold and bring the levers back into the cutoff. There we go. Lovely. So what we can do, go back to the home page. We'll go to aircraft systems, sim options, GPU, and switch on the external power. Okay, then we can open the doors. We can let them out of their seats. Seat belts. There we go. There we go. Well, welcome to St. Lucia in the HondaJet by Marwan Garib. It is really, really good. Highly recommended. Wonderful aircraft. So, hope you've enjoyed it. I did, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye now.